It's the brother Yawanathan. Father One coming at you another lesson in transit for the spirit and power Yahweh Shema Shai. First and foremost, as always, I want to start by giving all praises and glorifications to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone Will. Peace, love. Salutation to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of the earth. Preach his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom. All right, as you see the title, Iran preparing 1 million troops or soldiers, all right, for a possible U.S. invasion. Again, Iran preparing 1 million troops for possible U.S. invasion. Okay, because Trump was talking about deploying thousands more, all right, U.S. troops. All right, but Iran's saying they got 1 million. Okay, this all goes to show you that scripture reigns true in Joel. All right, the third chapter where it mentions the weak saying they are strong. Okay, because Iran is they basically kicking ass right now, especially Israel. Okay, Trump talking about they want negotiations. Iran, rejected diplomacy or negotiations with the U.S. Right, talking some bullshit ass peace, because they know not to trust Babylon. Because if you know, God, Babylon gets down. Okay, so they're not gonna give them the time of day to try to regroup and try to recover. They'll try to build their military back up. Because remember, he was calling for 200 billion in funds, military funds. So, I would think, Iran's being smart about rejecting that peace plan. Some 15 stage peace plan, whatever bullshit Trump was talking about. Right? Which, he lied about them having negotiations. All right, because Iran was talking about, hey, that's not true, man. We never discussed any possible talks. Okay, that's why I did that lesson about Nero Trump being a habitual liar, and I went into the definition of a habitual liar. All right, so brothers and sisters can look it up. You want to check it out, but yeah, that's what these devils are. Habitual liars, man. They know how Babylon. Hey, these nations done woke up, all right, to you devils being the devil, man. They know not to trust you, man. Because you was talking that peace talk before you struck, you and Israel struck. The word on the street was it was near negotiations, but March 1st, you went ahead and attacked anyway. You and Israel. So this time, I hope, I would think they wouldn't be stupid to fall for it. So that's why they rejected, all right, negotiations. But anyways, the point being, they say they hope we invade, because that's like suicide. Okay, here it is. You got thousands versus millions of troops. And remember, Iran, they've been ready. They've been prepared. But like I said before, the best time to prepare for war is at the time of peace. So they've been talking about, they've been preparing and beefing up their military and weapons for years. Right? Because they knew there was eventually going to be a target of Babylon and Israel, man. So they've been ready, man. All right, and they definitely ready for a ground invasion. But you just can't go in there and overthrow Iran like that doing a ground invasion. That's why all these troops, like I said in the lesson last night, brothers, every one of those troops that's going to be deployed over there are going to die, man. They're not going to survive. Okay, they're not going to survive, man. That's why they're going to have to bring back the draft. That's why they up at the age to 42 from 34, 35. One of those ages, they up in the age, man, because they know. Basically, they send those troops on a suicide mission, man. Okay, so, hey, man, things will get very, very interesting, man. Okay. And Lord willing, they start deploying those troops this weekend, man. Okay, because one thing about you Babylonians nowadays, you Babylonian troops, you're not really built for war. You're not really, you don't really have a war mindset. Now, these nations, they prepare. They don't be on TikTok, doing stupid ass challenges and playing around. No, they're in a total war mindset, man. They have a different mindset, unlike you Babylonians here. All y'all do is play, man. You know, here it is, you TikToking, and meanwhile, they were preparing all along for conflict. And here it is, and now a lot of you soldiers, you're not prepared. That's why all of you gonna die over there. You're gonna fucking die, man. You're not gonna survive. All right? This generation right here is fucking cooked anyway, man. Y'all don't have a war mentality. All y'all do is have a fucking folly ass mentality. A damn social media fucking mentality, man. Playing too goddamn much. Okay? Because we in the scriptures say, Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter, we're in a time of war, man. Okay? You gotta know what time you're in. This ain't a time of peace. Okay? It's definitely ain't a time of peace for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because guess who's gonna make war against you? Esau. As we speak, he's making war against you. You see what happened with ICE, the deportations? That's just the tip of the iceberg, though. No pun intended. You know? But anyway, that's just the tip. Okay? But the so-called white man, he get ready to come down, have a great rap because his time is short. He's gonna send all you niggas on the front lines first to fight this war, man. A war they gonna lose. Look like a cherry right there. You know? A war they gonna fucking lose, man. Right? And this war is not gonna be won by Babylon, man. You already done lost. Why? Because the scriptures say you lost. Everything's predestinated from the very beginning. Okay? So you go fight for this man, you want to. You join the military, you be dumb enough, you join this man's military, you want to, man. Alright? The draft is coming. They try to draft us, guess what? We're gonna take jail, man. That's gonna be another form of persecution. Rejecting the draft, going to jail, alright? And not fight for this goddamn devil, man. Alright? But we know the scriptures, we know the outcome. So why the fuck, if we know the outcome, why the fuck would we go fight for this damn devil, man? You know, just like taking the sea hill. We know the outcome if you take the sea hill. What the scriptures say? You're gonna die that death. You're gonna die, you're gonna burn, man. In the midst of the holy angels and the Lamb. The Lamb being Yahushua. Okay? So if you know the outcome of things, you wouldn't do it. A drastic outcome, a bad outcome of something, or the consequences of doing something, you wouldn't do it, man, if you were smart. If you were fucking smart, man. Okay? Because we know not to go in it, we know not to take the sea up, and we know damn sure not to join this man's military or go in this draft, man. If you in this man's military, guess what? You're gonna have to fight Yahushua. And you know that's a loser, man. That's predestined. Okay? That's predestined for you know the outcome of that. You know, the Lord's gonna win that battle, man. So if you have a question, who's gonna win World War III? Guess who's gonna win it? The Lord gonna win World War III. The Yahushua. Right along with the angels. That's who's gonna win World War III. It ain't gonna be America. It's not gonna be Russia, Iran, North Korea. All right, these European nations, none of these European nations. It's gonna be Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua. That's who's gonna win World War III. Okay. All right. So you know, I just want to put my spiritual 2 cents out on that matter. You know, Iran amassing 1 million troops, man. You know, what the fuck you gonna do? What the fuck Babylon gonna do with that, man? What the fuck you niggas that join this damn devil's military gonna do with that? You ain't can't do nothing. But like I said, y'all too soft, man. All right? That's why the scripture say what it say about the mighty men have forborne to fight. Okay? A lot of you, that's why a lot of you ain't joining the military. Yeah, you're not going to the recruitment office and things of that nature, man. Because you're not even, anyway, you're not even built. Which, I mean, that's a good thing you're not going, but, you know, making a point. You know, you niggas don't got it, man. Especially this generation. They don't fucking got it, bro. You know, and I'm just keeping a buck. You know me, man. I keep it a buck, man. I don't sugarcoat shit. So with that, you know, I'm going to sign off by saying again, all praises and glorifications goes to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone Well. Peace, love, salutations to the hopeful elect at the four corners of earth, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom and call me out, Shalom. Shalom.